Hi, everyone.
Welcome.
Ask a Puppy Trainer Show by Bethany and Sparky here at the Puppy Academy. And this is...
Pinky!
Aw, hi,
Did you try to do the welcome on purpose, like, same time?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Because it sounded super not good.
We'll practice. We'll practice for you guys, all right? How about that? This is episode number 136. Woohoo!
Woo! And if anyone wants to throw in questions, we've actually really enjoyed a new dynamic we've been playing with, which is reading these questions. We find a lot of people are also online, so if you have a follow-up to the question that we answer, please throw it in the chat. I love the back and forth. We love the back and forth because it just feels more personal that way.
And if you have a question, please put it in the comments, and we will try to get to it and include the age and breed of your dog, please.
Yep, and if anyone wants a question that we're holding in our hand, you just have to submit these pre-show. You can do it on Instagram, TikTok, or even YouTube.
Is sound working?
What?
Can you hear? We asked them if they can hear you.
Can you guys hear us? Can everyone hear us?
Can we get like a thumbs up or some hearts or something if you guys can hear us? We're waiting.
I know TikTok can.
Yeah, you guys work on Instagram.
Okay, cool.
Perfect.
All right.
Can I read a short one?
Yeah, go for a short one first.
All right. This is from Van. Some foundation training to practice with my 10-week-old puppy that likes to harass my older dog. Is this a follow-up for another question? Or did it just start that way?
Do you know how she does it? Like these are individual
I've looked.
blocks.
I can't find them.
We're-
All right. So we're going to assume it's just one question.
Oh, yeah, that's just one question.
Okay. Just no capital to the S.
Well, okay, when they do the tiny little boxes, they can barely fit any info in, so they're going to cut a lot out.
Capital S?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So foundation training 10-week-old puppy that likes to harass my older dog. Foundation training, there's a lot. First of all, you got to get a leash on that dog. That's the biggest thing. If you don't have,
And the dog, actually.
in general, on everything. But I mean, the older dog, if it's literally an older dog that just kind of likes to go off on its own, the leash for that dog isn't as important as long as it's not harassing your puppy. Once you put your puppy on the leash, then they'd have to both be on leash. But what's some foundation training? Getting a good come, being able to work on come, your relationship building exercise, name recognition, coming when called every single morning, 20 to 50 repetitions every morning for their kibble. That's a great way of starting it, because then eventually what you're building toward is your puppy looks at your older dog, you can say their name, get a moment where they kind of twitch their ear and glance back, puppy come, good, food, and then you start doing come away from your older dog, you can start doing focus techniques and start doing eye contact techniques, basically teaching your puppy to pay more attention to you than the other dog, but that leash is everything. If you don't have a leash, you're just yelling into the wind, and it's not going to work.
And then you've got to also work on your impulse control. Waiting for food, waiting at thresholds, waiting at crate door to come out with permission. These are all the things that you need to be working on with your puppy. But the reality is, your puppy is way too young to control themselves around your older dog. And so if your older dog isn't liking your puppy, then they're not together right now until your puppy gets a little bit of age on them, a little bit more maturity, and then you can kind of see how your older dog is feeling about him at that point. But you've really got to kind of defer to your older dog for how things are going. Your older dog's going to let you know. If they do like to play a little bit, but then your older dog has like had it really quickly, don't put your older dog in a position to correct your younger puppy.
Most older dogs have no idea how to do it properly, and they overdo it and scare the puppy, create an early fear stage.
Or you end up just having a pup. I see this more often. The puppy just waits till they're an adolescent, and then they really start going after the older dog. Yeah.
But by then, animosity is built, and they don't just go at the puppy to match, or at the older dog to match them. They want to dominate them because they've been dominated for so long.
All right, so I'm going to grab a question off of Instagram. This is from Madison. I have an 11.5-week-old Yorkie. So this is a baby, or a baby as in size, as well as baby as in really young.
She's a baby.
As in really young. Who cries and whines in the crate only when we're in the room. Otherwise, he doesn't give us problems. He does like to nip and bark at my feet. Any tips? Oh yeah, so you can't do supervised separation with this puppy. And what I mean by that is we like it when puppies can kind of be with the family, but be in a crate in the living room or be in a pen, a play pen or sectioned off area. But some puppies can't handle it. You're gonna accidentally create more anxiety. So until your puppy gets a little bit more mature, as you're working on more impulse control, not babying and loving, but you're working on more impulse control and building, that confidence up. Just only do separation when they're in crate away from you in another room, or you're going to accidentally encourage the problem, because we don't need to be correcting an 11.5-week-old puppy. So we just need to kind of work around this puppy's, issue for right now. As far as the feet thing goes, 11.5-week-old Yorkie, I mean, I would just freeze my feet, like just stop moving, because movement causes stimulation. Just freeze, and maybe have a treat pouch on you already, ready to go, and work on sit, drop a few pieces of food. He eats them up, take 2 steps. If he goes for your feet again, freeze your feet. Maybe I might do a little noise or something, and freeze, sit, drop a few pieces of food. At the age your puppy is at and the size, that's what I would start with. If you're still struggling in a month, come back and we'll layer on something else. You have anything else to add?
No, that was good.
All right, you want to do one of those?
Baby question. All right. Julia Ann, I recognize that name. Welcome back. Best daily schedule for a full-time worker getting a Bernedoodle pup soon. Best daily schedule. The daily schedule is basically revolving around having a playpen / crate / bed / potty pad set up within a small enclosed environment. So a young puppy at, where is it? I don't have an age. Age does help too, guys, so we know kind of what to gauge you guys at.
Probably getting it at 8 weeks old, 8 to 10.
Okay.
That's
we'll
when
go with
most
it.
people get their puppies.
We're going to assume 10 weeks old. Good middle number. If I have a puppy coming in my home, one, I want to already have my house like puppy proof. So if I have my puppy in a playpen, I'm going to have a potty pad on one side. Other side will have a dog bed, little water bowl or food bowl if you're going to be gone for more than 3 or 4 hours. 8 weeks. Oh, damn.
So you would suggest that setup for her to leave and go to work?
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to be gone for multiple hours of the day, you can't just leave the puppy free roaming. It's going to get into everything. You got to give it a puppy proof setup. So you have to basically provide a setup that's safe. That means that your puppy can't chew up potty pads. And if they do, you got to get a rubber mat and they're just going to basically pee on it. And if that doesn't work out, then good luck. But no, start with the potty pad, rubber mat if that doesn't work. Have a bowl inside of that playpen with them so they can get a little bit of water throughout the day, and then usually 1 or 2 toys, and they have to be safe toys. It can't be anything with stuffing, anything they can get like threads in their belly, so it'd have to be like a really tough Kong,
Safe
something
toys,
like that.
yeah.
The safe toys is the hardest one to find because safe toys are kind of boring for dogs because they don't have much give. They can't rip the stuffing out. So
Nylabones and Kongs. If you had a Great Dane, I'd say no Nylabone because they'd be able to break it by 3 months old. But for your puppy, you'll be fine. I would just say I'm always really wary of pens when you leave for work. I'm really wary of them. Once a dog is 12, 13 weeks old, especially if it's a large breed Bernedoodle, they're going to get heads stuck, paws stuck. They're going to, that's just my opinion. Okay. That's even, I've seen so many fancy playpen setups. And I just think for all day, they rarely work. I would actually look into, we used to be like, no, don't do this unless you have to go to work. Well, you have to go to work. Like those puppy apartments, which is just like a big crate with a little cutout in it for like another area in the crate where the puppy pad is. So you're basically making a whelping pen. That's what it is, because a whelping pen is where the mom is to feed the babies, and then they go through this little area to the area where they potty. And so you just need to have these separate areas set up. I like just a huge crate because that's going to be where you can make those separate areas, but it's safer, in my opinion.
That's what I was going to go with.
And I don't know where you live. Like if you live out in the country, then this probably isn't an option. Just ignore me. But you need to get, if you can, a dog walker there midday to just do a potty, feed their midday food maybe, play a little, and then back in their crib. And if you can't do that, don't worry about it, but it is going to take you 10 times longer, potentially, to potty train.
The puppy condo can be upwards of $2 to $3 grand. Just to give you guys a heads up.
Just get a giant crate.
Thank you. Yes, you're gonna have a big Bernedoodle. You're gonna have a dog that probably needs something a little bit short of the Great Dane crate.
Yeah.
Just get the Great Dane crate. It's massive,
Yeah.
and your little itty bitty puppy
No, the Great Dane
has multiple spaces within that crate. What?
Wait, they don't need the Great Dane crate. They just need a 48 incher. The Great Dane crate is actually also like a foot higher. They don't need
Do they
that.
make one that's that long and wide without the height? Do they make one minus the height but the same width? Because that's about the puppy condo size.
Okay, I don't know. So the Tipsy Cricket says, my 16-week-old falls asleep somewhere in the house? Should I move him to the crate? I would mix it up. If you're not doing a lot of crating, then yeah, try it. Absolutely try it calmly. Like putting a baby, like rocking a baby to sleep and then trying to put it in the crib. If you're not getting a lot of crate time in because they're fussy, try it. But otherwise, if you're doing some crate time and they fall asleep out with you, great. You have anything else to add?
I didn't even hear the question. I was still reflecting on our last question.
Okay.
What, we got to do
wanna
an
one?
Instagram.
I don't know. You mean a TikTok?
Oh, shoot.
Well, then get...
What did I do? TikTok, yeah. Sure.
Okay, I'm going to read this one while
All
he's
right.
looking for... Do you have it?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. We live in 2 houses. Second house is not big enough to have a crate. Any advice?
For a puppy?
Yeah.
No.
I mean,
you can have them tethered to you 24/7. That's honest to God how you potty train a puppy when you don't use crate.
she's not being ornery. Too.
I'm not. I swear I'm not. I'm being
it's that
quick.
little sassy.
I'm being
little
quick
sharp.
and yeah.
She's not kidding. You literally either have to have them tethered to 24/7 so you know exactly what their habits are because you're 24/7 watching them, or you got to have a safe space for them like a crate or a playpen. But
Because
she
here's
already
the thing.
mentioned the negatives of a playpen for a bigger breed dog. So
Yeah.
you got to play.
Because here's the thing. If you go to the bathroom and you walk in and you're mad that they chewed up your carpet, but it's a puppy, that's like being mad that your toddler pees on the rug because they're not potty trained yet. It's not fair. And so you have to set your puppy up to succeed.
You're not supposed to get mad at toddlers for peeing on the carpet?
Maccabi12 says, thank you for answering my question. So this is a follow-up. Wish I had more characters to clarify my initial question. So she wrote us somewhere else, I guess. Okay. We are doing leash pressure. It sounds like we're doing everything correctly. I don't know if I get a response here. Okay, so sorry. I should have read this ahead of time so I could make it shorter. We're slowly trying to increase the amount he can spend in crate. It's 2.5 hours. Perfect. You want to slowly do that. And I would like to increase out of crate time, but it gets to a point where he's overstimulated by 30 to 45 minute mark. That's not uncommon at all.
The second one is I can just paraphrase this one. It's basically she's doing everything when he's out for free time. He's getting playtime. He's getting training. He's getting supervised separation. And she didn't realize that you actually have to train a dog to be calm and relaxed. And it's true. All of this schedule is to help you guys teach your dog how to use all different types of energy. Use up the physical, use up the mental, and then eventually relax and settle outside the crate in your guys' presence.
Well, the key,
but I think
the key here is she says, my 2 other pups loved to snuggle and nap when they were younger. They weren't crate trained, but they also weren't having these overstimulation issues. And so this is so common. You could have 3 Border Collies and have 2 that were really snuggly, and then 1 that was a wild, more like working minded, I gotta do stuff all the time, because they're all different personalities. So you gotta look at it that way.
It's probably what we hear 90% of the time here at Puppy Academy. Yeah. My last dog was, and this new one is.
And
crazy.
there's no set time when a puppy is ready to do what he was talking about, which is teach them not to be held like this all the time, but just be like on a leash next to you. Whoa, you don't want to be, you want to be on top of me. Okay. Wow. Let me see if I can even do this. He's like, no, I will be on top of you. But to like teach them a smaller dog to settle next to you and a bigger dog to settle on the floor. It could be 4 months. It could be 5. It could be 7 months. It depends on how their personality is and how much training you've done with like place, like go to this spot and you get rewards. Usually the more you do that, the better they'll be. But if you've been a really excited trainer, good food, come place, they run to place, they jump on place, they love it. You're going to have to tweak your approach a little bit to get to the calm part, because then you have to be calm. And
gotta slow the brain down a little bit.
There's some tweaks that you have to make with that. And then if I was working with this puppy on that and I had her, on leash, I wouldn't want to manhandle her a bunch or anything. I would just want to guide her back with food, calm follow, good, piece of food, good, maybe a little massage to relax them. So hopefully that gives you just kind of a little bit of a different way of looking at it. And do it when they're tired. Before they get cranky, overstimulated.
We never answered her question. So she's built the dog. So same question.
Right.
She's built up her dog to 2.5 hours in the crate, which yes, you did say, and she's doing about 30 to 45 minutes outside of the crate. Her question though is, how does she start increasing that? But
I thought we just talked about it. Like you still put your dog in the crate before they get overstimulated. You don't really need to increase it. You just need to work on them being calm outside of crate.
All good. You're actually already giving yourself your own answer. You've tried 30 to 45 minutes, but you're having trouble working him past that because he gets overstimulated. That's actually the answer to your question. Your buffer is 30 minutes of free time. You push up to 45 and you kind of hit a cap at that 45-minute mark. That means mentally, maturity-wise, probably not ready to go past that. When you can get to that 45-minute mark, hold it for a couple weeks and then try to push another 15 minutes to get to the hour. And if you're ever getting to the point to where you're getting nipped, jumped on, barked at by the end of that point and you don't feel like there's a balance, you can't bring them back down, then that's the cap of what your free time is.
Well, I don't think you'll be able to increase it like that. I
don't know the dog's age.
I think you'll have to hit your 30 minutes and then work on teaching them how to be calm outside of crate, which is more a different type of active work. You could also go, if you go on YouTube and look up dog meditation, you might have some things that pop up to how to work your dog more slowly to kind of bring them down. I think you're gonna have to work on more calming techniques.
And you're on the right path. Everything I read on that paper means that you're doing everything you should, but now you do have to train him to be more calm. What Bethany just said, work your way up.
All right, Mike says, my 12-week-old, it just got him Saturday, has been crying, needing to pee, I'm guessing in the middle of the night. Yes.
Was that the question?
Well, I think it's
or
just...
is it a statement?
It's a statement, but I think they're just wondering if that's normal. And yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is. It absolutely is.
12-week-old too, especially normal. Cut off water between
brand new puppy.
6 p.m., 7 p.m. Limit the water intake after that, if not fully eliminate it, because they only need water at a certain point. Make sure when you go to bed, if you go to bed at 10:30, your puppy gets its final potty at 10:29, and then you guys go to bed together.
Yeah.
From the moment you get that last potty, your timer starts, and you're only going to get probably 4 to 6 hours of sleep with a young puppy at that age.
Yeah,
Maybe
especially,
six,
well, the breed matters, stuff like that,
What was
but
the breed?
especially small.
It didn't say the breed.
He said it's a two-part question and he accidentally hit send early, so there's more.
It didn't come up on mine for some reason. Oh, here we go. No, it didn't.
We got the mic. I saw another part right there. Or go up a little bit. Oh, yeah.
No.
No, Mike, we don't got it.
Resend it, Mike.
Resend.
The question. All right, you want to do one of yours?
I took yours. These are yours. I liked your questions more than mine, apparently.
He likes the short ones.
I do like the short ones. This is called Man Brain. Louisa, 19-week-old female Corgi. How to get her to listen and not bark when feeding time.
Oh, is this such a Corgi problem?
This is Bethany's question because she's
God.
all about the spatial pressure and the stepping and the backing the dog off.
So,
go, Bethany, hit
well,
it.
first I would say, make sure your puppy is on a leash and make sure that you are working on place, because place is such a great way to teach impulse control. Place is like targeting a dog bed and waiting for their payment, and then you gradually increase good, then payment, good, payment, good, pause, payment, good, walk around the room, payment. So you need to be making sure you're working on other things that change up how quickly they're getting rewarded with their payment, their food, right? Because you can't just focus on the one challenging thing. That won't work, okay? Nothing lives in a vacuum. So there are other things that you need to work on impulse control before targeting this big one. The great thing about teaching place in a balanced way, which you can check out on our online school on thepuppyacademy.com if you're interested in a program, is we also teach like spatial pressure. And so dogs already know spatial pressure. They just forget it with humans because we do this.
And we like to have leashes instead of practicing spatial pressure.
And so you have a leash on your dog, and when you teach spatial pressure or reteach them with humans, you teach them how to back up onto place and wait. And so then they can very easily learn to wait on place for their food bowl. And if they get off, it's a no, and you move into your dog. Because here's the thing, if I move away, like away towards their bowl, like to prep their food, they want to follow because you're moving away from them. If I move in towards a dog, I'm making them get out of my space and back up. It's supposed to, if they believe you.
That's an important part.
It calms them down. So that's why place is great, because you're moving in towards them and then they hit an anchor, which is like a dog bed that they've been rewarded for. Okay, so all this stuff works together. And then even at 19 weeks old, my dog, I could go prep food and the puppy could come over and I'm like sending them away. I'm like, no, moving into them, sending them to their dog bed while I prep food. But that's like the last hardest step. For now, you can use crate while you prep. But anyway, hopefully look into that. Definitely, look at some videos for how to teach place through balance training on leash and with body language, with spatial pressure.
And where you're actually giving the food, don't release them to the food, release them by giving them the food.
Yes.
It's the difference of building drive and harnessing, building drive and nurturing it versus harnessing the drive and making them wait longer.
Because you don't want to release them and they fly 3 feet to get the food if you're having these issues. Instead, you just say break and you give the food to them.
And if you got a lazy dog, just enjoy it.
Yeah, you can let them run across the farm. All right, Tammy says, please help. I have an almost 4-month-old German Shepherd. Oh God, it's always the German Shepherds, I swear.
If it's separation anxiety, I already know.
Or biting, okay. She's never had an accident in her kennel. Backstory, oldest goes back and forth. So one of her dogs was sick, and Taylor started barking, got scared, peed a little on the floor. Fast forward, she's going out at 5:15 a.m. and then she comes inside. Daughter came in, who I guess was the one who was sick. Dog started barking like someone broke in. So, okay, and then she had peed, so she got nervous. Okay, so how can I help her not be afraid of my daughter at the random times that she does? So I see this, your puppy had a crucial imprint moment. Unfortunately, it was a bad imprint moment instead of a good imprint moment that caused a fear cycle. So for me, it's your daughter. Is she willing to do some work? Is she old enough to do some work with your puppy? That would be really helpful, to just pick up the leash and drop some food on the ground and let your puppy eat it up, and not even look at your puppy or try to pet, and then just walk around the living room with the leash dropping food on the ground, and then from her hand, and then maybe she squats down, not facing the puppy, which is a ton of pressure, but to the side, right? So your daughter just squats down to the side and kind of doesn't go over the head, but kind of just reaches underneath and gives some scratchies and some food, from the hand. So hopefully your daughter's old enough where you can build a little bit of, a bridge there. But in general, I see your future, and I see some red flags happening because of this moment, which is when people enter into a room, he's going to start barking. And it's going to be a problem.
Charging eventually.
And when you hit 10, 11, 12 months old. And so you need to start to build a positive when people are entering into the room. So I would actually walk around, if my puppy's out and my kids are home, because you want to do it with people who he likes too. Don't just do it with the daughter that he's struggling with now.
Negative association.
Yeah, it needs to be everything. Every time someone enters into a room, I would walk around with a treat pouch and a clicker. And just look up clicker training. It's so easy. Click food, click food, click food, click food. You condition a clicker, a neutral marker, to mean food is coming. It's great for this type of behavioral stuff with puppies. And you're going to walk around with this treat pouch and him on a leash. And you're going to practice with everybody in your home for a week for 5 minutes a day, preferably 2 or 3 times a day. People are just going to come in and out of the room. Your kids are, or your kid, or your spouse, or whatever, and you're just going to go click food. He looks at someone coming in, click food. Looks at someone walking out, click food. Over and over and over again. And then you're just going to have it on you all the time to just be prepared. And before you know it, your puppy's going to be hanging out on a long lead next to you, chewing a nylabone, and you're on the computer, and somebody walks in and you don't even think about it. You're just like, click food.
Or they're going to stare at you waiting for the click in the food.
That's what you want to get to. You want to get to where your puppy is just like, oh, someone walked in. Pay attention to mom. Where's my click and food? And it becomes really positive.
And by the way, that's good for any dog.
Yes.
Whether they're barking at people coming in or not. I want to make 2 clarifications. When you have your daughter crouch down, give her the food, if the dog doesn't go up to her for the food, she can drop it and walk away.
Yeah.
It's actually more important for her to leave the situation and allow the dog to build comfort and take the food on the ground than for her to invade your dog's space and push to give the food. It's going to break everything she's built and everything you've been building, and the trust will be gone.
Feel free to write back with more details on the age and stuff like that.
Oh, people coming in the house too, they need to ignore the dog. You need to remove pressure from the dog in the beginning. They walk in, they don't say a word to you or the dog, and they walk back out. You're doing all your food work. And eventually when the dog starts showing more comfort, then it could be they walk in, hey mom, goes upstairs to the room, comes down, walks out the door, and you can slowly start adding in different levels of stimulation.
Yeah.
And if you don't feel comfortable knowing when to add those in, we'll see you next week.
Yeah, exactly.
Let us know how it goes.
All right. Do we get the?
TikTok question?
Yeah, go ahead. Do a TikTok.
Do I have TikTok or do you have
You
TikTok?
have TikTok, sorry.
You have TikTok.
It's about a Dalmatian. They've sent it a few times. So.
They're, see, persistence. We gotcha. We gotcha.
It's Rose. It's the same person for last week. Hey, it works, Rose. It works. 9-week-old Dalmatian. She's in perfect routine, regular exercise, and naps, but bites and draws blood.
Whoa.
Okay. So
9 weeks old. That's frustration.
9-week-old Dalmatian. It's frustration, but also it's just probably a lot of puppy biting, but like puppy biting because of frustration. So
Yeah, that's
let's
not
break
normal.
that down. Perfect routine. Perfect routine. So we're assuming on leash. We're doing all 3 parts of free time, which is controlled free time. It's not freedom to roam. Walk and play, work some of the physical, training, work the mental, supervise the separation to get her to chill out before going back in the crate.
Honestly, we don't have enough detail. I'm sorry, but it's going to take you 15 minutes to answer that question because we don't have details.
Because I'm going to answer 50 different parts of the question.
No, you're not. You can't. We need some details. So you have like 1 minute.
Do I really?
Like when is the puppy biting? I don't understand. Like, is it when you're trying to pet, leash up, walking through the home, biting feet, jumping on your daughter? Is that follow up? Is that for us?
No.
No. Okay. Well, anyway, I really hope you'll come back next week and give us some details because we have 30 seconds.
I want to read one more
All right.
because I don't like the advice that someone else gave them.
She said all of it.
All of it. Well, okay, so that's, we can't answer that in 30 seconds. So can you message us on Instagram that question or just be back next week and we will prioritize you because this is much bigger. And what was the advice you didn't
Pre-send in
like?
Pre-send in the question, please.
If you can, yeah.
Because that'll give us a better idea and then we can start with your question.
We'll prioritize you. You can send in a question by, we don't do TikTok questions, do we? Oh, we do. We do. So private message us or direct message us on TikTok and give us some specifics. No, you said advice.
I know, but Glizzy. Okay. Glizzy boy.
It's 1:30.
10-week-old Border Collie. He eats rocks. We don't know if he's just chewing or eating them. Help. Someone else told him to muzzle him.
A puppy? A 10-week-old puppy?
By the way, the muzzle advice is the advice I didn't like. So now, Bethany, tear him apart.
Well,
Go!
who said to muzzle a 10-week-old puppy? A 10-month-old puppy?
10-month-old. Yeah, I still want to do it for eating rocks.
Did I miss?
No, it's 10-week-old. 10-week-old.
What? Okay. Sorry, let me reel in my brain because I don't want to harp on that. Don't do that.
We want to control puppy space by using leash and guidance and different factors like that.
Common sense, people. But maybe
she's still on it.
Maybe,
I didn't mean to actually tear them apart.
Maybe they thought you said 10-month-old, and then I could understand going for a hike, with your 10-month-old and muzzle conditioning so you can enjoy your hike. I get it. 10 weeks, absolutely not. So you need that puppy on a leash all the time. Tons of guidance, like with food. You need to build more food drive. You need your puppy looking up. And I just dealt with this with a 5-month-old Malinois, and it was very challenging. I had to get head control, but it was 5 months. 10 weeks, you're still on a harness, and if you have a yard with a lot of rocks, you're going to have to figure that out. You're going to have to remove the ability to get at the rocks with a 10-week-old baby. It's a baby. And so you're going to focus on just building food and looking up at you and not searching for things on the ground constantly. This is honestly not a one-part question. It's really about what's your dynamic with the puppy throughout the day and what kind of training are you doing, and is your puppy on leash, and are there rocks all over? Like, do you have a rock yard? Because a lot of people in California do, and we deal with that, and it's very challenging. You have to figure something else out for potties. So anyway,
by the way, you can get a 50-foot patch of fake grass turf from Home Depot for like $35, $40.
Put over those rocks.
Yeah, literally just get. I have a client right now that I'm currently working with. He did a rock bed. He put a tarp over it, poked holes in the tarp, and then put the turf on it. He actually made legitimate turf.
There you go.
With the medium, and it cost him less than $50.
But that's only if that's the problem. And so if you're going on walks with your 10-week-old, they probably don't really know what a walk is yet anyway and shouldn't be doing it. You should just go in front of your home and just do turn, stop and sit food. Turn, stop and sit food, not like a walk where they're looking for things. Anyway, we're barely able to brush the surface of that really. I hope you'll come back or join our online school, which is on thepuppyacademy.com. And we'll see you next week, guys. So thanks for joining us.
I'm excited about that last part.
I
We'll
know.
see you next week.
Because I'm sad, because I feel like I didn't fully answer her question. I'm
Crapped
sorry.
on the last two people.
I'm so sorry. All right, guys, bye. We'll see you
All
later.
good smell time.